Some additional areas could be served if there was an expansion to the treatment capacity at the existing plants. And then there's some areas that are not going to be able to be served until there's a new water source identified. Because the low flows of the Kentucky River are not going to provide water during drought conditions to serve, these larger areas. So one of the key elements is identifying a water source as we go forward with this whole thing and look at the larger areas to be served. Then we can think about extending water to the remaining parts of the county. And then installing or assisting in the installation of cluster systems in some of the smaller outlying communities that might get a water line but might never get a sewer line. And of course the individual households, which is not part of this body's problem.
Water sources, evidently the Corps of Engineers and all their lakes have for years refused to allow that to be water. The federal government is all saying yes. There is evidently an ongoing study of Fort Reservoir that should.
Right, we've got that under 5 here, looking at the new water sources. We're with you.
I'll jump ahead.
Task 3, the city-county coordination, really needs to be thought about. If the cities run the water lines out and they've got a billing mechanism, the county can, this county water district, countywide water district, let's say, can put in the sewer lines, but could still coordinate with the municipalities that are providing both the sewage treatment and the water to really do all the work. Just, they have the responsibility for maintenance and mine sources. Important. Think about a water source. Bill, you want to?
Let me just bring Judge up to date on exactly where that study
Okay.
is on Carver. Quite as far along as you, like, or about a month ago, to do it had to be one number firm. They aside for a company, so there was skis has gone to it. So they're negotiating as we speak. It has not actually started yet, but we're looking at our fault as a source of water supply, not area. That's your counties. Those that does that jumping ahead a little bit, but it has the potential major on a regional basis, and that's good. If such region is created, this goes back to the using entities be part of that commission, the one that the governing body of that commission that would water from a single major source like Carver. That has not been done yet. That's if I were going to do the study, that's the way I would look at it. It's just beginning, and I don't expect any results.
Do you expect that water or treatment?
It could be either one. And we've talked about that. There's a valid argument either way. Right now, that is, there are valid pluses and minuses for both of those cases. My first cut that you counted through sea water. I'd exclude that. There are a lot of it. I was talking about distributed treated water.
has got a treatment plant. Maybe having trouble with all water, why is going up Rock House toward Dean, they
hybrid types. Any of those are possibilities. I'll look at all of those. That's what this study will probably do. I will try to have a little bit of.
I think the water line from Carr Park to Letcher County or Whitesburg is expensive. And I don't, at this point, I don't think it's necessary because we've got all the poly mine southeast, exactly where the water is. 2 main, 5 west, 3rd east, 3.5 west is all full of water. It's all in number 3 seam. That's where all your body of water is. There's enough water in the poly mine to fish Carr Park Lake, right here in the county.
We pumped a 6-inch line, 14.
I'll tell you where your pump is located. It's pumped 365 days a year, an 8-inch pump, worked 24 hours a day and you didn't drop it.
Well, Smoke Creek.
Well, we've got to look here at the new reservoirs and look at the mine sources. I think
How do we do that? How do we move ahead? Like, how do we, what I'm wondering is how do we check out that source? Now, we just have an idea of it. How do we go about doing it? Now, a month from now, we can sit, looked at this, we tested it, we saw the quality of water. It is a reasonable source. It's
One of the things right now, but the Kentucky Geological Survey made a proposal to the River Authority to do some groundwater investigation. The proposal to have it more focused, they gave a very general. After the Kentucky focused proposal. They need that just what the quality of that water is, I have no idea. I think it has to see if the Kentucky will focus that study on this. I think that's a lot cheaper than Carr. No question about that.
And they're located throughout the county, really.
Yeah.
That Leon, Goose Creek Mine.
Brady, this past week, Maggie works at the supervisor. And I went to Jenkins to for mine maps. And the purpose of this was to work with rural water. Remember how Bowling is to the rural. Work with rural water to set up a wellhead protection plan for water supply. In other words, we have a letter from the coal mine to the people that's interested in mining coal in that area. Before you do any mining, you will let us know what you intend to do, where you intend to mine. Have a comprehensive overall study of your water supply and surrounding areas around it so that you know what kind of water quality you got at reasonable periods of time. This could be done in the southeast area. Any water supply, potential water supply, you do a study and get a commitment from the people that owns interest in this coal before you go in there and do any mining overhead or any blast or anything like that. You will let us know what you intend to do or what your intentions are so that you can develop these sources. I don't think it'd be all that difficult for us to know the quality of the water in the southeast, how much is there and all these things. The key to it is to from these coal companies or who owns this property, mineral rights there, to this district to have some communication with the judge or the fiscal court or something. You know, hey, this is our long-term plans of mining here in the next 10 years, and you have some kind of plan on the water supplies. So you have long-term effects. Leon we're already developing a waterhead protection plan for our whole system, so we'll know what kind of water we got there and how long we can expect to have.
Who owns that water that you're in?
It's a mixed up piece of business, to be honest with you.
Roughly, do you have any idea?
Well, theoretically, Consolidation, Cole, Bethlehem, Elkhorn had some interests. Each one of them has some different interests there because they interfere with each one of them. Pike can let your land cut in, which is probably the most controlled.
Originally, it was all Consolidation Coal Company, let's put it like that.
Right, but they sold off each section in different counties and stuff.
Tico.
Well, that's a division.
That's
of-
Pike,
where we
Pike
divided out.
Land Corporation.
It's all originally Consolidation Coal Company, and it became Bethlehem divided down to 3 or 4.
I've got a question back here.
Does any I think Harry is junior.
Yeah. Bill Combs was an engineer. Freddie Webbs knows. I really want to know something about that mine. If I wanted to know anything at all about that, I know who'd go ask.
The Revere's family could even tell you about Goose Creek.
He's a brilliant engineer.
Well, how about if, as far as the study group, does it make sense to you if we commit to have some conversations with some of these folks that know this, and also contact the Kentucky Geological Survey and the Division of Water has a contacts and all that, and at least start this process?
I think
Or back to
water
you.
for Letcher County. I don't see any point in spending.
Well, we'll put this on our agenda. Is that,
I think what we're doing, James, is throwing out the alternatives.
Yeah.
Nothing is locked in.
Right.
We don't want
I
to
understand
exclude
that.
any viable.
They're all possible sources, but we have a good possible source here we ought to examine it.
And each one of these, whether it's Car Fork or new reservoirs or mine sources, each one of them has pluses and minuses.
We got a new reservoir plan for Leon up there in the old number 2 Hollow. Roberts, all in. All the work done. They call it Bottom Fork. I call it number 2 Hollow. It's located between.
It's,
How long you been getting
it's in that
mining
book
water?
that I know.
Sir,
How long have you been using mining water
Leon.
for Leon?
Put the system in, well, ever since it got out of hog holler, didn't it?
I think Mac Roberts has been in operation since coal. I think when coal companies came in, they had to have water supplies, so they served two purposes. They got water out of the mines and they used it.
What if you have a cave in, then what happens? Lots of water.
They are. The thing there is, Joe, is that you have so many different channels. You'd have to cave in. Where they drove all these mains and main lines and stuff, the plans, the underground plans that I've got a copy of, it looks like a bunch of ants. They got lines going every which way. Looked like they just went 20 feet and turned left and turned right and went ahead and stopped and backed up. I mean, they go in many different directions. They go so many feet and make a clock, you know.
I was surprised we couldn't, they wouldn't talk to us about that. All the surface water. I can see his, thing where it's spiderweb, the cobweb, with so many sources.
Yeah, you have so many avenues for this water to drain in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if it just, I mean, you'd have to have 2 or 3 mountains to set down. And if you're doing that, we're in world trouble anyway.
I can understand how they call it surface water, but the river certainly surface.
Yeah,
You know,
all
that
surface water.
that was a source. But the only trouble with mine, Golden Oaks, is mine opening back in the portal at southeast took the slope mines down to the Elkhorn. What happens there when the coal gets scarce, they get deeper and deeper, and when you reservoir, then eventually it dries up.
I'm getting back to it, we need to do a comprehensive study to know what long-term effects that on this property, coal and all mineral rights, long-term mining plan so that we can plan these things. So we know 10 years from now, they plan on under that. Water can help us put together.
Comprehensive plan is what we'd like to, all this to lead to. Question on the table, are these all the right tasks? Is this what you want serving as staff to the study group? Looking at things here, we have a consent board.
What's referred to as a new reservoir. Nothing is, these are just, I was talking with Jack. Most of the time, their water supply is quite good, like right now. But every once in a while, they would tell me have some water stored that could be rather be able to supply water. What this new reservoirs is referring to upstream from during that would be used all. It has a system that operates a technique.
Well, that was discussed. Our term for it was. People in Estill County opposed. Run into.
It's your most precious land. It's the
Right.
flat land in the valley, right?
Well, prepare your speech, James.
Yeah.
I voted with them too.
And
That's not what we're talking about.
sorry, go ahead.
There's a hall.
Part of what will be gathered in this process will be like the information on the flows. What is the low flow? How often does it occur? How much would you need as a reservoir? Is there enough water right now to serve the new plant in Whitesburg, which I think is over 800,000 gallons capacity? Because if you don't have the raw water source, you know, all these other pieces don't come together. Got to be one piece of going forward with the larger plan to serve the whole county. Certain pieces of this that can go forward right now. Neon's got water. They can extend water lines. Whitesburg can't extend water lines if they can't get enough water to serve those water lines. So it's, when we talk about these, doing a map of areas to be served and how you go forward, it's a series of kind of different ways of looking at Letcher County. Here's areas can be served by existing water lines. Here's areas that can be served if a new raw water source for Whitesburg allows them to be able to use the new plant at the whole 800,000 gallon capacity. How many people could be served by that new plant at that point? So the comprehensive plan would look at all those different possibilities and the things that have to actually happen so that you can go to the next, the next.
do we have some kind of a general timetable when we sat down with Brady and we were talking about cleaning up water, sewer? I think at some point, our group needs to sit down and some physical picture, how much more planning or how extensive are we going? I know you've got to plan thoroughly and look ahead, but I'd like to see at some point start from point A and look at some kind of time schedule or get some rough idea. At what point are we going to sit down and focus in on something? Let's start cleaning it up, like start from Dunham and come this way with it. Start cleaning up the river and bringing water or sewer, or go to Blackie, go to Coulson, or go to somewhere and let's clean up something. And then, I mean, does this group have a time schedule or something? We can get off on multiple tangents here in different directions about this, and this is a very complex thing. We're doing something. We're not talking about it. We're doing something. This group. I thank each one of y'all for doing it. I'm a type person. I want to see something done. I guess
Let's look at nobody's here.